hit illegal ham in the face. But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bri.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into another episode of Illegal Ham to the Face. I am that fat guy, Jared Fatty Bates. He is Big Bri. What's going on, Bri?
Hey, man. How you doing?
You're doing good. We got a special show today. We have a guest sitting in the background. But we're going to run down through. We're going to bring him on. We're going to talk some food. We're going to do things a little backwards than we normally do for our show because Cavs play tonight at 8 o'clock, so we're hoping to get out of here right at tip-off. Bri, first off, you happy the Cavs finally did something in Detroit because they didn't look too hot in Cleveland?
Oh, they didn't just do something. They destroyed them. That was unbelievable if you're a Cavs fan.
Loved it. Loved every minute of that. But we do have our special guest on here. So, Bri, let's introduce all the ham viewers here to Coach Lance Riesland. What is going on, Coach?
Hey, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Coach.
We're doing good, bud. How are you? I know you're busy right now with everything going on.
Yeah, it's a great time of year. I love this time of year. I love leading up to the draft. I love watching film. And then rookie camp was great a week or so ago. I'll be headed out to OTAs tomorrow. See how they look tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, it's time to get it rolling here, and I'm looking forward to the summer.
Okay, so those of you on here that do not know Coach, he is a former head football coach, also offensive coordinator, works for 92.3 The Fan, also Cleveland.com. Oh my God, I got to catch my breath after that one. I mean, there's so much more that you're doing. You do film breakdown, you do draft analysis. Geez, what don't you do?
Well, you try to dip your hand in. There's a very small list. When it sounds like a lot, but if you do the list of things I'm good at, or I kind of have an understanding, and the list of things I don't have an understanding with in my life, unfortunately, the one list is a lot longer than the other. So I try to stick to what I know, or at least have. That's the great thing about football is. I definitely don't know everything, and I love to learn as much as I like to, teach the things I know, especially the things my dad taught me. All
right, so, Coach, the draft is come and gone. Brian and I have touched on it. You've been on our other shows here on Network 216 as we talked about it. What was your final thoughts of the draft? Because we haven't talked to you since the draft happened. You had your favorites. What were your final thoughts of the draft, and what did you think of the back-to-back wide receiver drafts?
Well, I was really, really high. I had a little bit different than everybody else. I was not as high on Denzel Boston as everybody else was. I had him ninth on my board and 19th overall, I believe. I had Casey Concepcion at number 4. I love his skill set, but I'm also a little biased. I love guys who can get the ball and create easy yards. And as an offensive coordinator who's had some really good teams and some really bad teams, guys who can get you yards when not everybody has to do it right are really important to an offensive coordinator. And I think where the Browns are at offensively, they needed a guy like that. Obviously I was a big Caleb Downs. I'm a big game changer person. I believe in, as coaches, if you're doing the right things that you try to do as a coach, it really comes down to having better players. And I don't care. People talk about draft value and all those things that are people who are much smarter than me. I just turn on the film. The guys who I think are the best are the guys that we draft. Seeing Spencer Fano, Austin Barber, and Brailsfield move their feet. Fano is a special guy. Seeing him up close and watching, standing next to him, he's a big human and he can really move his feet. The receivers are outstanding. Really, really, you get what you get. Boston's long and KC's good in the slot. So, I like their draft. I thought, McNeil Warren was a steal where they got him. I really like him. His length is just, when you see him at practice, his length really sticks out to you. So, I was very impressed with I like both of those receivers. And even though they might not be a number one, I think your number one is Harold Fannin Jr. And if you have a lot of twos around a number one, you create balance in a defense. So, I like what they did. And I like the fact that they had a plan. And I've always been a big believer in, you might not like the plan, but they had one and they stuck to it.
Yeah, Coach. So you like the receivers, but the pick that they had at number 9, trading back from 6, picking up Fano, is that what you would have done if you were in that position? Do you think if Carnell Tate had dropped to them at 6, he was the no-brainer pick, or do you think the board kind of fell how they thought it would?
So I had Carnell Tate 3 on my board. I had Makai Lemon 1. I had Jordan Tyson 2, and I had Tate 3. And I actually didn't think even Boston, even though I had him down the line, I did not think there was a big difference between the long receivers and the slot guys, and the guys who can. And I thought Jordan Tyson was a kind of a mix between both. So I would not have taken Tate at 6 or at 9. I like what with Fano. I thought Fano was the best tackle on the board. And people always ask me, it has not worked out with different guys moving from right tackle to left tackle. And I think the thing that the Browns have not maybe expressed well is the kind of athlete they're looking for. Fano is a special athlete. When you see him, he's an easy mover. My dad used to say guys who, dancing bears, guys who look like they're easy mover. They're not clotting. He's so light on his feet. He looks like a tight end during these drills. So obviously it matters when they put the pads on, but his movement skills are absolutely elite. I had him as my number 1 tackle, as did a lot of people who are smarter than me. Just the footwork and the ability to move his feet are really special.
All right. Another thing that happened later on in the draft, and people are going nuts because they don't know what to do with this kid. Taylon Green, quarterback drafted from Arkansas, off the scales intangibles, just athletic freak. And everybody is losing their mind now with this kid. What were your thoughts on Taylon Green when he got drafted?
Well, when you take a swing in the 6th round, I believe in early rounds you take the best players and guys who dominate on Saturdays, and then later in the round, if you go back to like Alex Wright, they took Alex Wright out of UAB, all the physical skills in the world, just didn't have much of a pass rush plan, things like that. So Taylon Green's interesting. I did not have him in my top 10, and I get lots of compliments on the things I do hit on, and I miss on tons of things as well. Just like everybody else, you watch film and you get your paralysis from analysis. But Taylon Green's interesting. So everybody thinks he's a trait guy only. This is a kid who almost threw for 10,000 yards. He was when he's at Boise State, he was freshman of the year in the Mountain West. He's thrown for 50-plus touchdowns. Problem is he turns the ball over too much, and his footwork is kind of erratic, and his throwing motion is a little elongated. Seeing him at rookie camp, the great thing about rookie camp is that he's the only really quarterback getting all the work. So you see his skill set. And the first thing that stands out, like you said, he's a big kid, fast. He can make all the throws. He has some accuracy, consistent issues. But when you talk about a guy, like people are like, he's a developmental guy, but there's always guys that can help you. And, when I think about the +1 run game, that's who I think about right now, because you don't have to do it. It's not gadgety. It's not tricky. It's power. It's counter. It's pin and pull. And you just have an extra blocker. When you get down the red zone, they bring that safety down the box. Now your tailback becomes a fullback, and he becomes a tailback. So I think there's a place where he can help him this year. But when in terms of development, if he hits, great. If he doesn't hit, great. Right now, he gets to be Lamar Jackson. He gets to be Josh Allen. Though that's just as important to have those scout team guys who can simulate and give you footwork and things like that. So I think it's a great addition. I think he is a developmental guy. I do not think he's a guy that's going to be in the mix as a starting quarterback. But, you work against the number 1 defense, and you go one way or the other. So I look forward to seeing him every day and see how he progresses against the number 1 defense, and if he can use that athletic ability. I love the pick later in the draft.
So a lot of people think that the Browns may have gotten one of the biggest steals in the draft in the 2nd round with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. So I know you love Caleb Downs, and I was maybe critical. I didn't think maybe he fit perfectly into the Browns secondary and playing alongside Grant Delpit. But to get a talent like that with McNeil-Warren in the 2nd round, how does he fit with the Browns defensive backs and playing alongside specifically Grant Delpit?
Well, it's really interesting. So the first thing you see with these guys like Austin Barber is just size, right? Guys who are big, and the thing that stands out about EMW is his length. He looks really long out there, and his ability to be rangy from numbers to numbers, hash to hash. You can see that already. He plays with a lot of confidence. He did a nice job in camp setting the edge, a little bit more physical already. I really look forward to seeing them getting the pads on. But he's a guy. There's a couple things. One is he's a guy that can play the one high hat because he's long and he's rangy and he's really good at peanut punch, and he's always around the football. Really instinctual kid. But then he's big enough and fast enough and kind of violent enough to play down in the box too. So you have a guy that can rotate. He can compete with Ronnie Hickman right now. But, when you get, obviously they want Delpit down in the box as much as possible. But, with shifts and motions and two hi hats and things like that, Delpit does a decent job as the one hi hat. It's just something that you don't want him to live in because he's so good down by the line of scrimmage. Now, I think Emmanuel Warren, first of all, I was hoping they traded up with when day 2 started. So have him at 58 was amazing. He gives you the one eye hat. He gives you the down in the box, so he can replace Delpit. They're going to do some 3 safety looks this year. So those guys have to be C and D gap run responsibility. So you're going to see, in a perfect world with a perfect formation, you're going to see Hickman deep, and you're going to see McNeil, Warren, and Delpit both down in the box, which is second level for this defense is going to be outstanding. But he also gives you a little bit of leeway. When you talk about stacking talent. Now Delpit is going to get paid. If he has another great year, he's going to be in line to get paid, and maybe he outprices himself with the Cleveland Browns. And then all of a sudden, very similar to like what the Eagles do with their defensive line, you take the next great guy and you put him in. You allow Delpit to get paid. You tell Delpit you deserve that money. We just don't have that money to pay you. Or maybe you pay him and he becomes your starting free safety. But what it does, it gives you different avenues. So I love the pick. Like I said, the thing that stands out for me is just right now before the pads go on, he's just so long back there. He's very rangy back there.
All right, so we knew this was going to be an offensive heavy draft. It needed to be because defense is pretty much taken care of. I think there's only 2 guys on defense selected out of their entire picks. So, in your opinion, how many starters did we get out of this draft on offense? I mean, obviously Fanu and then the 2 wide receivers are probably going to get a lot of starting time. Is there somebody else that's further back in the draft that's probably going to get some starting time that we didn't expect to get some?
Well, depending on what they do offensively. So we talk about this. So you talk all the guys, right? The receivers, Fano, EMW, all those guys. But a guy that's really interesting to me is Brailsford, the kid out of Alabama, the center. He's 290 pounds. And the thing that Monken does very well, if you go back and what Monken did against the Browns, the Browns are a gap penetrating team, lots of counters, lots of traps, lots of crunch, lots of things to kind of take advantage of the Browns penetration. Then they, watch the Ravens against, the Patriots, and Patriots are more of a 2-gap odd front team, and they play a lot of line of scrimmage, and they ran a lot more zone. So he's very multiple what he runs, and the center has to be very good at getting to the second level. And Brailsford is 290 pounds. Now, if he can get up to 300 pounds, he plays with great leverage. You can see that already. And he has incredible feet. Now, the thing that they'd have to work on is obviously what teams will do is they'll just cover him with they'll get an odd front and cover him with a 350 pounder. But he's really good. And I think he can be in the mix because he can move his feet so well. And even though he's undersized, he plays with very, very good pad level. You see it on tape and you see it even in the walkthroughs, the pad level he plays with. So I would say Brailsford is the guy that's going to help. These tight ends are going to are both going to be in the mix. Royer's more like Fannin, and I love Carson Ryan out of BYU. He's more of a glue guy, fullback. He'll impact the game sometimes with not having a stat in the thing. So I like him too. And I will say this too: the thing that I like about the receivers is that the expectations have been so high on Ced Tillman, and then Isaiah Bond comes in as an undrafted guy. Mm-hmm. Now they become your 4th and 5th receivers most likely. Now you have depth there. Now you have had guys that now the expectations are production as a 4th and 5th receiver, but guys who have made plays in the NFL. And those 4th and 5th receivers at some point in the year have to make plays. So I think they've really improved this. Not only the first 3 guys, obviously with Judy as well, but now they've got some depth. So I that's what you like to see in my opinion. So I think this is a very solid draft from top to bottom. But Brailsford would be the guy that I think is going to be in the mix here pretty quick.
So, Coach, as we're transitioning from the draft into actual football on the field this week, is there still 1 or 2 positions that you kind of look at with this team that are unfinished, or that it would be nice to add a veteran or 2 before we play our first game?
Well, I think, I want to see Justin Jefferson, the linebacker. I want to see him play because, obviously after Quincy and Carson Schlesinger, the depth is a little bit questioned. I would say the same with corner. maybe go out and get a veteran corner, maybe go out and get a veteran linebacker who can just play downhill with his hair on fire. This defense is really, really cool for a linebacker because you get to go. You don't have to necessarily play one gap fast and one gap slow. You're in charge of one gap and you get to play with your hair on fire. So there are guys out there that maybe go out and get a veteran, and then you got to look at the quarterback position. The quarterback position is interesting, and I look forward to seeing what happens. I just want the best guy to play. I don't care who that is, but do they need to go get another arm if one of these guys doesn't pan out? That's always an interesting kind of dilemma that you have because it's the most important position in sports. But, for me, it's the idea of they got to make sure they have depth at certain positions, but they're not as far, in my opinion, they're not as far away as people think. They just got to be adequate on offense and make sure their special teams are well coached, and they'll be in a lot of games. I'm not saying they're going to win them all. As a coach, I think you can, but they have the potential to be in a lot of games, and that's how you win games is to be in them because you're well coached and you have some players at all levels of offense and defense.
All right, Coach, this is going to be a fun one for you, so I hope you're excited for this question. We don't know what's going to happen at the starting quarterback. As a coach, as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator, how would you handle this quarterback room and a starting quarterback between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders?
Well, it's a question that you get asked a lot, and I will say this first and foremost: the idea is you're trying to find the best quarterback, and everything that has been said. Let's start with Deshaun Watson. Everything how he's played since he's been here, all true. The injuries, all true. None of that matters for Todd Monken, and that's what people have to understand. So none of that matters going in. Now, everything that Shedeur did, I thought he had great impact. He's got to protect the ball a little bit better. Also, fresh slate doesn't matter. Monken said, you're going to see Dylan Gabriel. He's going to get a look. Can he be more productive in an offense that Monken runs? Who knows, right? And that's the thing. So the best guy will play. And how do you go about that? Now, the argument that people have with me is that Deshaun's going to look better in practice, but he won't do it in a game. Well, then my argument would be for Shedeur, then you have to go out and you have to practice better. And you have to practice better than Deshaun. And that maybe is his next step as a progression as a quarterback. Because as a new coach coming in, the guy who plays best in practice and the guy who plays best in the preseason is going to be the starter. Todd Monken's 60 years old. He's not a puppet. He's going to play the best guy. He's trying to win week one. He's not trying to get a 2027 draft pick. He's trying to figure out how to win week one with this elite defense. And I think they're going to both. I see them both playing just because the only thing that I will say about Deshaun Watson is that his injuries are real, and he's had some. He's got some tread on there. So, but yeah, I'm gonna try to give him equal reps. I'm gonna name a starter early. If you want to play, you got to play better in practice. If I'm Shedeur, then if Watson's playing well in practice, he's got to play better in games. And then if he practicing great and doesn't play well in games, then Shedeur's got to close the gap in practice. So you go, you know what, you're close enough where we got to give you a look, or however it works out. It's just got to be the best guy plays, the guy that gives them the best chance to win, protects the football. It doesn't, none of the other stuff matters. No one's being sabotaged. This is the best guy plays. And also I will say this, and I'll stop here, is if Shedeur was not the starter, that's not the end of his career. If Shedeur's not the starter, it might be a good thing because he's still got a lot to learn. And it has nothing to do with, he can't understand things. He didn't have an offensive line at Colorado, and he had to get rid of the ball quickly. I've seen him go through his progressions. He's a smart kid. But he has a lot of work to do with his footwork and other things. So he's a great kid. They work hard. For me, I'm just going to let him play. The outside noise means nothing to me. Who gives me a chance to win week one? Who's going to help me beat Jacksonville week one? That's who I'm playing.
So as Browns fans, taking all the off the field stuff out, not considering your bias between Shedeur and Deshaun, we probably agree that Shedeur starting and succeeding would be the best thing for this franchise because he still has 3 years left on a rookie deal. So, but the early reports are that Deshaun maybe has a leg up on him, at least right now. So if we follow that narrative, thinking about Deshaun being our starter, what would be the best case scenario for Deshaun as a Brown starter for this year? and then even going for the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, realistically, obviously him being a Pro Bowl quarterback would be great, but is that very realistic? Like, what's the end game if we do start him, and what are we hoping for? And then is there a chance? There have been reports that he would be open to coming back to Cleveland.
Well, I'll say this: the idea of him being ahead at this point in time, there's no pads on. They've practiced for 4 or 5 days, but that doesn't take into account what you're seeing in meetings. They're installing a whole new offense with new terminology. You would hope in an offense like this that he would be ahead, simply because he's been in the league almost 10 years. And when you've been in the league 10 years, you understand terminology. It probably just comes to you a little bit faster just because of your experience. That would be it at this point in time. Whether he was the starter or not the starter, it really means nothing. I will say this, as a coach, I'm not. That would be the GM's job, and I'm not looking. When I think of Todd Monken, and I'm a little bit older myself, I don't care about next year. I don't care about week 2. I care about week 1. My dad always taught me, and God rest his soul, those people who plan for the future too much, those coaches who plan for the future too much, usually aren't a part of it. And so that's now. That being said, I've also learned from some of the people I work with, there is money involved. There is roster construction, all that kind of stuff. That's great. But as a coach, I don't care about any of that. I care about Jacksonville. And how do I get ready for Jacksonville? And that, for me, at least keeps me in line, because if I think I can win every game, that's going to drive how I practice, my attention to detail, my enthusiasm, the things I do, how I watch film, how I practice, all that kind of stuff. That's why you win games, especially in the NFL. It's so close. So I don't really, obviously if he goes out and plays great and he looks healthy, then you got to think about extending him. If he doesn't, then you got to get Shador in there and see if he plays well, and then you extend him. But I would think none of that means anything to Monken, and I would almost guarantee it doesn't. He's just trying to figure out how to win week 1, which in my experience, and I've learned from some really, really smart coaches over the years, both at the college and high school level, that's kind of how you stay grounded. How do you figure out to win week 1? And that's really where Monken's head should be.
All right, Brad, one more question for each of us, and then we will get into Fat Boy Tuesday and talk some food with Coach Riz. All right, so, sure. Coach, I got to ask you, because this has got to be a weird experience for you. I know you haven't coached in a while. You kind of take a sabbatical to be home with family and everything else. What's it been like for you, especially going to rookie mini camps and the OTAs out there and just watching it personally, and just being able not to yell at somebody and be like, hey, you're doing this wrong. Get your head in the game.
Well, the good thing for me is that I've always learned the game of football from my dad, and I always felt that I learned it the right way. And what I mean by that is I'm not a person who goes, oh, I know how to do that. I'm always absorbing, and I know some of the stuff that I did was real successful because other people taught me. So when I go out to Browns camp, and it's been 4 or 5 years now since, my daughter, I stayed home with my daughter, and this has been a great experience because I get to go watch football, the best football in the world, basically in the huddle or on the sideline every day of practice. And, I get all the film and I watch all the film all the time. So for me, I've kind of taken a step back because I've been so involved with my football my whole life that, I never really got a time to reflect or look at different schemes or do different things. And even though you do that in the offseason, now there was no season to prepare for. So it was really nice to, just see what teams are doing and how NFL teams run it, even the joint practices. You get such hands-on experience being down there. So it hasn't been hard because it's kind of scratched that itch because I'm still learning. 51 years old, I've been involved in football since I was 2 days old. But football is a game. If you're not learning, you're getting left behind. So it's been really a cool experience for me, humbling as much as I think I know. And I've learned a lot from my dad and other coaches. There's something to learn every day when you go out and practice. And that's what I try to do.
Well, Coach, I can't let you get out of here without one Myles Garrett question. We got the June 1st deadline looming. Is there anything that could come after that June 1st? Is there a chance that maybe we see a situation like last year with Micah Parsons to where he just holds out until he gets traded? Like last year, he tried to do it civilly and tried to go on the radio shows and tell everybody that he wanted out of Cleveland. And now it's just, hey, I'm not showing up. We haven't seen him yet this offseason. Can he force the Browns' hand and say, trade me or I'm not showing up come August?
Well, the one thing I would say, we don't know the relationship he has with Monken, and all the steps the Browns have taken is the Browns have not taken a rebuilding step. They've taken a retool step, and I think they can win, and I think they believe they can win. And the reason why is because they have an elite defense, and I think they're going to play better special teams. And if I'm Todd Monken, I'm saying to myself, I'm pretty good on offense, and I'm going to figure this out. And I got a couple weapons, and we don't have to be great. We got to be adequate, and we can win a lot of games. So I think what is the relationship that Myles Garrett has with Todd Monken? That's first and foremost. I think the Browns have shown that they want to win, and they've put money and obviously. I think people want something out of Myles Garrett. As a coach, there's different types of leaders. Myles is not the guy who is the rah-rah guy, and Myles is the best player on the field. That's his leadership. And every day in practice, when I watch him practice, he practices hard. He doesn't miss reps, but he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not Quincy Williams. He's not Carson Schlesinger. That's their job. Also, as good players, Myles Garrett's the best player on the field, and he practices really hard. And that's also important as a leader because for him, he's the best player and he works really hard. But he's never been a guy that's a rah-rah guy. So I think people have, want him to do things that are really not comfortable with him. But no, I see him staying. I could be wrong. I tend to think as a coach, I think they got it. I think they have a really good atmosphere down there right now. As compared, obviously it's the honeymoon period with the new coach and all that stuff. And as you get into camp, you'll see if that sticks. But I think he'll be here. I think he finishes his career as a Brown. And I think the Browns turn the corner quicker than people think.
Awesome. I hope right. That would be great.
All right. Hey, Coach, before we start Fat Boy Tuesday, way too early scheduled game. Where do you got the Browns finishing this year? What's the schedule coming out?
Well, I'm going to stick to my guns here, and this is going to be the most cliche, awful answer you guys got from me tonight, but I'm literally going to go 1-0, and people are like, what do you do? Because here's the way I say about that is that –
come on, Coach.
Well, listen, here's the thing, though.
I'll take 1-0.
Here's the thing I always tell people. People are like, what do you think? I am not automatically telling myself I'm going to lose 7 games or I'm going to lose 8 games. I just won't do that. Now, will it happen? I don't know. Possibly, whatever people want to say. But for me, that drives how you prepare. That drives how you practice, attention to detail, enthusiasm, etc. So when coaches say that, that's one of the cliches I love because really that should be so when people ask me, and I've been asked a bunch, after the draft, what is your record prediction? I think they go to Jacksonville and I think they're 1-0. And I really mean that because that will tell me they're doing the right things because it's a long season. It's week to week and you got to get back in the saddle. So I'm going to be boring. I'm going to be a bad guest, and I'm going to say 1-0.
That's all right.
I'm out with that.
Yeah. Well, hey, definitely be all right with that because it's been a while since we've seen 1-0 over the years. So, all right, Coach, you're going to stick around for Fat Boy Tuesday, and you're going to love this. We are talking because the Asian Food Festival was this weekend in Cleveland. They actually had to shut it down early, Bri, on Sunday because it just got too big. So we're going to talk some Asian food tonight and see how much Big Bri's going to dine in on this one. So here we go.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
All right, I was going to get real in depth with this list and get you like the rotten egg ducks and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I think we're good on that.
Right, I'm not going to do that tonight. So Fat Boy Tuesday, we're talking Asian foods tonight, and with the Asian Festival happening over this weekend. So, Brian, first off the list, I did the top 10 dishes that most represent globally Asian food, ranging from comfort foods to street foods, okay?
All right.
So first off the list, obviously, from Japan, sushi. All right. Fresh fish, seaweed, whole bunch of avocados, other vegetables in there. Bri, would you eat some sushi, buddy?
I'm probably good. Well, what is the one? California roll?
Oh, yeah.
That really doesn't have any raw fish in it. So anything with raw fish, I'm probably good on.
Okay, Coach, what about you?
I've tried sushi. I try to like sushi. There's a lot of sushi that's really healthy for you. For some reason, it just is not my go-to. I have tried it. I've actually, where I grew up, we've actually had, I've had some hillbilly sushi that I like, where you take some regular food and you put some pulled pork in there and do some other
Now
things
we're
with
talking.
it.
Yeah.
So I like the California roll. I go with. I will say this: I don't like the fish sushi. I do like some of the where you get just a bunch of vegetables and things like that. I will eat that, but it's not my go-to. I gotta admit.
Sure.
So technically, pigs in a blanket is considered sushi.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely right.
I get down with that.
Justin's in here now, so we'll get some comments from Justin.
Well, sure.
All right. Next up from Vietnam, pho. Bri, do you know what pho is?
No idea. PHO?
Yeah, PHO. It is a soup with broth, noodles, herbs, and thin sliced meat, either beef or chicken. It could be other things too if you would like it. So it's pretty much like getting ramen noodles, well, better ramen noodles, and some different stuff in it.
Sure, that doesn't sound bad. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Coach, we were talking beforehand. I know you get down with some pho.
Oh yeah, the broth. If you like broth, so it's you cook it over a long time, and then you slice the meat thin enough where you actually kind of cook it in the hot sauce and the hot broth. Yeah, I'll get some good noodles. I'm in for some pho for sure. I haven't had it a lot, but it's pretty good.
Sure.
I bet I gotta take my kids because we got the one that opened up here in North Homestead, and I gotta take the kids to that one so we get some. All right, next up, Pad Thai from Thailand. Stir-fried rice noodle dish made with eggs, tofu, peanuts, bean sprouts, and a tangy sauce, served with either fish sauce or chilies.
Huh. I can't say I've ever intentionally eaten tofu, but from what I hear, it kind of tastes like chicken. So if that's the case, I give it a try.
I've had it, so I'm gonna say yes, and I've had it, and I love Thai spices. And the thing about tofu is that it's really kind of like nothing. So the tofu I've had they get like a crispy edge on it, and then it just tastes like the seasonings. And I love like the peanut sauces, all those Thai sauces. So yeah, I'm not much of a tofu eater, but I've had it, and when I've had it, it just tastes like whatever I'm eating, which is usually something very basic, but. Those Thai spices I'm all about. So yeah, I would. I've had it, and I would do it again for sure.
Nice.
And Justin already chimed in. He said, "Pig in a blanket is like sushi, and a hot dog is like a taco." Never going to live that one down. And
right.
Also, Justin is a chef, coach. So he's one of our. He said fish sauce is nasty by itself, but it goes
it doesn't sound very good.
Stuff. So, all right. So next up after the Pad Thai, dim sum, dumplings. We're doing dumplings. We're going Chinese dumplings here. Bri, it is bite-sized steam fried or baked dumpling, buns, or rolls served in a small steamer basket. Now, Bri, you have got to be able to eat some dumplings.
You said dim sum. At first, I thought you were talking about like a character from Street Fighter. But yeah, if they're basically donuts, yeah, who's not going to eat that?
It's not donuts; they're dumplings.
Oh, give me a break! It sounds like donuts.
Yeah, you get a little pork, little vegetables in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I love dumplings, and you get I love the bao bread they have. If they could get a little bao bread consistency, yeah, I'm all about dumplings for sure.
Okay, so Bri, a dumpling is almost like their version of our pierogies.
Yeah, like a pot sticker. I've had those before. Yeah, they're good.
You can eat pot stickers.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going Indian. Butter chicken and naan. Creamy, mild spice Indian curry made with a naan bread, normally chicken, alongside fluffy oven-baked bread. Bri?
Based on your description, it sounds pretty good. I feel like I've seen it before, though, and do they have like a soup or something? Like it looks like almost a tomato soup. Some people that eat this buttered chicken, but whatever you're describing, that sounds great.
So my long story short, my brother-in-law's wife is of Indian descent, and so their curries and their first of all, I like hot food. Like it's next
Mhm.
level hot. So, and then naan bread is my favorite bread. And I actually Americanized out. We've actually made at our house like naan bread pizzas in the air fryer. So yeah, naan bread's delicious. That chicken's delicious. Those curries are so tasty, but they are hot, real hot.
So the naan bread is, I don't want to be rude, technically like a pita, right?
Yeah, it's a thicker pita. That's a great way to say it. It's like a thicker
Okay.
pita.
Okay.
They kick it. You've seen those shows where a lot of times they'll cook it. They slap it on the side of the inside the like a big like almost like cylinder, and they slap it on the side and cook it inside the fire.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's naan bread. Yep.
Okay. It looks damn good.
All right.
It
Yeah,
is.
I know Brian gets down on this next one. It's ramen. Brian, you get down on some ramen.
It's been a while, but yeah, that was what I lived off of.
All of us as college kids have eaten some ramen.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah,
Really good.
ramen noodles. I go chicken. Do you guys go? I drain mine. I used to drain my noodles, so it was more like just a pasta noodle. We didn't have it as a soup, so we would drain. We cook it and then we drain it, and then when it was just the noodles, we put the spice on. That's how we did it.
Yep.
Okay.
Same. I used to put some nasty stuff. We're talking barbecue sauce, mustard, like in college.
Sure.
Yeah. Some saltine crackers, make it like a 5-course meal.
Well, we used to, the George Foreman, we would actually make ramen noodle sandwiches. Swear to God. It would just.
Okay.
So yeah, you do what you got to do in college, right? We all did.
Yeah, right.
We all did.
Well, now my wife goes to these ramen places and they're charging like $12 for ramen noodles, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Absolutely.
Now, so I don't drain mine all the way. I leave a little bit of the broth left over, but you definitely got to throw in some hot sauce.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like, my kids right now, there is a creamy chicken ramen out now, and my kids are all about it.
Okay. Oh yeah, they used to have that. They've had that before for a while,
and they eat it like crazy.
Good.
I don't know.
Very salty, but it's good.
All right, next up, Brian, kimchi, South Korea. It is fermented cabbage and radishes seasoned heavily with chili powder, garlic, and ginger. So it's pretty much their version of sauerkraut, but it's not sauerkraut.
It doesn't sound bad. I'd probably try it for sure. It doesn't sound bad. But yeah, I can't say I've ever had it before.
I've had it. I love kimchi. There's one of my favorite condiments is gochujang sauce, which is kind of the red stuff you see on that. It's so good. So I've had kimchi on like a burger before. I've had it like on different things. Kimchi is it's so good. Gochujang sauce, but kimchi is very, very good. I think you're right. It's like an Asian kind of coleslaw slash. I think you're right on your description there, but I like it when it's real crunchy. I'm all about those for sure.
Yeah, it's kimchi is more like coleslaw. Is what Justin said. So, but it's got a bite to it, so it's not as All right, we will do one more because I know we're getting late here. Got to get Coach out here, and plus we want to go watch the Cavs. Everybody does. All right, Brian. Next up, and it's famous in China, Peking duck. Extra crispy duck, skin tender meat, usually served with pancakes, scallions, and hoisin sauce. Brian, would you do some Peking duck?
Doesn't sound terrible, but I feel like I've had duck before and I just wasn't a fan, so I'd probably pass it.
Yeah, my burger and hot dog growing up tradition and where I grew up, I like duck. You see it when you're at restaurants, and duck doesn't do it for me. I'm not a duck fan, and even and obviously it seems like I'm sure Justin knows. It seems like it's really hard to cook, and people who are some of my friends love it, but no, I've never been a duck fan ever.
All right, Coach, before we get you out of here, we're going to do our top three after this, but we're going to get your top three. Give us your top three Asian foods that you like to consume.
Well, I'm going to go with, can I use orange chicken of any sorts?
Chicken? Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go orange chicken just because, was you could get it good now, but that was also like the Chinese joint down the street when you're in college. It was always good, little rice, little more. The orange chicken. for sure. I'm gonna go with pho as the my second. A really good pho that I would treat myself to every once in a while, and then I would do a heavily spiced wok cooked teriyaki chicken. I love teriyaki chicken. I love teriyaki sauce. So those would be my top three.
Perfect. Coach, thank you
Sounds
so much
great.
for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
for taking your time out, hanging out with us degenerates here on the Legal Hand of the Face. I hope you had a blast.
Oh, absolutely.
Love to have you back on anytime that you want to.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. Absolutely. It's a blast. And it's always good. It's always good talking ball and always good talking with good people. So if there's anything I could ever do for you, let me know. And I love the food part of it as well. It's always fun doing that stuff.
All right. Let everybody know where they can find you at, Coach.
I'm on all the socials. Real simple. It's just at Lance Reisland, LanceReisland, and Instagram and X and TikTok that my daughter's taught me how to do, and all those ones that I'm on now. So, yeah, just real simple. And I try to get as much plays on there as possible and breakdowns and all things football. So if there's anything I do or any questions you have, I'll do my best or at least point you in the right direction.
By the way, Coach, you can't see this comment, but Justin chimed in and said it's been a few years since he's made Peking duck. He said, but it wasn't that hard. He said, but doing sushi was like rolling a joint.
All right. That sounds, obviously, we all know, we've all seen those before, maybe. I don't know. From what I've heard. Yeah. All right.
From what I've heard. I mean, I guess, Justin. Yeah. Coach, enjoy your evening. Go Cavs, and we will talk to you soon, okay?
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for having me, and go Cavs.
Yep, appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So awesome, bro. Coach Lance Reisland joining us. What a great guy that guy is.
He knows a lot. He knows a lot about ball. Always great to talk about the Browns, too.
All right, Brian, do you want to get into your top three Asian foods, and then we will talk some Cavs, and then we'll skip trivia tonight, Brian. We'll do trivia next week.
Yeah.
We'll talk some Cavs.
No, that's fine.
But let's get your top three Asian foods, buddy, because I know you do love some Chinese food.
Oh, I do. It's kind of boring. So what I love is all very similar, but I'll try to get some diversity here. I'm gonna go number 3. The crab ragoon?
Oh God, I love crab ragoon.
And all the stuff. I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be a surprise. It's all gonna be like takeout stuff. So I don't get down with too fancy Chinese stuff. So the crab ragoon, probably 90% cream cheese, but it's still pretty good. Then I'm going with the egg rolls. I'll take a pork egg roll if I had to choose. And then my number 1 is, like Coach was saying, orange chicken, sesame chicken, sweet and sour chicken, honey chicken, General Tso's chicken, all that stuff. Yeah, all that chicken and the fried chicken with the good sauce and the fried rice. I mean, that's why I don't go to Chinese restaurants anymore, because I just load up on that 3 times and I'm ready for a nap or hibernation.
All right, so Brian, for me, number 3, there is a China Renaissance over here by us in North Olmsted, and they do a Yushan chicken, and it's a spicy garlic chicken, but it's got all the mixed vegetables and everything else in there with it. So it's not a breaded chicken. It's just like their normal chicken. I love it. Number 2 for me, and Brian, it's got to be probably Hunan steak. I love a good like beef and vegetables, spicy beef, that kind of stuff. And Brian, I'm a whore. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a whore for egg rolls. Give me an egg roll with that hot mustard sauce. That is like my.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm just
the wasabi mustard.
Yeah, the yellow, the Chinese mustard. I don't know what it is about that Chinese mustard, but my God, you give me, and it can be any egg roll. It can be chicken, it can be pork, it can be shrimp. I don't give a shit. I am a whore for egg rolls.
Have you ever done egg rolls just for dinner? Like get like 10 of them or something? Or is it always accompanying something else?
Oh, it's always accompanying. Like I won't do like I'll get my.
You won't just do egg rolls.
No. I'll get.
You're
my,
not that big of a whore for egg rolls.
Well, hold on. So instead of just doing one egg roll with my meal, there's probably 6 egg rolls getting ordered that night.
Well, that's because you're fatty. You got to live up to the moniker.
Okay, so Brian's never had the hot mustard? Oh, yeah, that's good shit. Justin chimed in.
Oh, yeah.
Kimchi, Thai fried rice, and sushi tuna, the pink kind. Ooh. I do got to throw in
that doesn't
sushi as an
sound
honorable
good.
mention. Me and the boys
Ooh.
do some sushi. Justin,
Yeah.
I can't bring that up, but that is a very good comment on that one. He threw out another kind of tuna, and we're not going to talk about that.
Was it a racist comment?
No. He said he likes the two-legged tuna.
Oh, I gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, just the showing off the rails. after that.
Somebody had to say it, right?
All right. Well, hey, Brian, let's bump out the music because we haven't done it tonight. Let's get your Cleveland headlines. Let's talk some Cavs. So last that we talked, series was 3-2 in the Cavs' favor. Well, yeah,
3-2.
No, it was 3-2.
Well, I think the game 5 was that after our show. Yeah,
that was after our show. So it was okay. So anyways, end up being oh god, his 6-year-old said hi, Jax. What's going on, buddy?
Hey man,
say hi to Jax.
What's up, Jax?
So Brian, we got the lead. We took one from Detroit. We brought it back here to Cleveland. And Brian, we just shit down our leg. And Detroit just did whatever the hell they wanted. Brian, I'm not gonna lie, after that game, I thought we were done. I thought that was it. You had your chance to close out this series and move on. And then it didn't happen. And then we go to game 7 in Detroit. JB Bickerstaff, Cade Cunningham, that Duncan Robinson, which somebody needs to take him out of the kneecaps. And hey, and also the commentators all over that Thompson kid.
I noticed that too.
They're trying to take him out for a special dinner afterwards, and
talking like he was Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird rolled into one. They just couldn't stop talking about him.
Just all over him, like white on rice, right? I mean, it was. Oh, look at him! He's so great. There's some other things I would do after that, but we're not going to do this because we are a good formal show. But Brian, Donovan Mitchell showed up, and not points wise, leader wise. Assist, doing the damage. I think he had more assists at one point in time than he did have points. I think he had like 6 assists right out of the gate. And did whatever he could. And then next thing you know, Bri, we call him Charmin Soft all series. And then here he comes, game 7, Jared Allen, out of nowhere. Like, they finally just took the will out of Detroit and just smoked him. And the great thing I loved about it, Bri, is afterwards, they stepped on their throat and they didn't let up. They didn't let him come close to getting back into it. They just kept their throttle on it and just ended that game. And I loved every minute of it because I loved watching JB Bickerstaff bitching about James Harden taking flops, doing the and just I loved every minute of that. But we are playing New York tonight, Brian. It's a different game. So give me your recap and your excitement from games 6 and 7. And let's look ahead tonight against the Knicks.
Yeah, well, I mean, it really kind of maybe swung the series in my mind in game 5 at the end, the last 4 or 5 minutes, to where we're losing by 9 with like 3.5, maybe 3 minutes left, and just found a way to come back. And I kept saying to myself, like, we always talk about the Cavs blowing games at the end against Toronto, and then maybe one in Detroit. And so, like, when is it going to be our turn where the other team blows a game and we kind of can steal one? And so that was game 5. And I think that was huge just to give us confidence for game 7, because had it gone the other way and they won game 5, we won game 6, I don't know if we have the same confidence going into game 7, because we had yet to win on the road. So just getting that monkey off our back, finally winning on the road, and doing it in a fashion to where, we we dominated the last couple minutes, and you know, Evan Mobley hitting a 3 in Game 5, hitting those 2 giant free throws. You know, we have long said as Cavs fans, like, if Evan Mobley can just find an offensive game and get confidence in his shot, you know, that we're a different team. And so I think that gave him confidence. You know, our backs are against the wall. We're about to go down 3-2. And, you know, Max Strus hitting shots, Harden making plays, Mitchell, you know, finally coming alive a little bit in the second half there. And so that's where it kind of started, Game 5. And then Game 6 was just, I don't know what happened. To be honest, I didn't watch a ton of it. We were traveling to Chicago, and I was so bummed because all day I'm looking forward to watching this game with my brother. We didn't get in till like halftime, so we watched the second half there. And, you know, halftime we pulled it within 3, and then it was just crap from there on out, and we never really could get it close again at the end of the third quarter of the fourth. So, you know, all right, whatever. Start looking to Game 7. Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially coming off of Game 6. But you had that confidence that we have won on the road before. We're the more experienced team. You know, you start talking yourself into winning Game 7, but I don't think anybody could really have predicted what happened in Game 7. I don't know if the Pistons just kind of ran out of gas. We brought our A game. They had like D game, and maybe it's because of our defense. I don't know, but the most satisfying thing for me, and the thing that made me the happiest, was I feel like the 3 guys that me personally, but I think a lot of Cavs fans have been most critical of, in Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, and Sam Merrill. Those 3 guys who we have been most critical of this season were the 3 to have the big games. And so, you know, in the big moments, and like Sam Merrill, I've been saying, I know a lot of Cavs fans have been saying, like, it was almost last year, if you remember, in the offseason, we chose Sam Merrill over keeping Ty Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did we do that? And so he's been taking strays a lot this season. You know, he's a shooter, so he has off nights where he doesn't do much. He has nights where he scores 16 or 18, and you think he's great. So for him to have that game, for him to take that charge in the first half where Thompson wanted to hurt him. Like, Thompson, you saw it in his face. He said, you know, he was thinking in his mind that sign that said, hard fouls only or something like that. So he's like, well, if they're going to call me, I'm just going to bowl this guy over. I want to hurt him. And so he stood his ground. Did he lose a tooth? Did I hear?
I don't know if he lost a tooth, but like he hit. I thought he got a concussion. Like, that's how hard he hit the floor. I thought he snapped his head back onto the floor. I thought he got a good. Then the next thing you know, he comes out and fires a 3 right in his eye. I'm like, all right, he's good.
And like, what I've been impressed by all last series was, even though he wasn't hitting all the time, like, his release is just incredibly quick.
Oh, dude,
like the way he can get it off. And, you know, it's usually against taller defenders, but he gets his shot off so quick, and the fact that he makes any of them is really impressive. But for him to score 20+, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, I really think the key to the game was the fact that something, and maybe this is coaching, maybe this is Kenny Atkinson telling our ball handlers with Harden and Donovan Mitchell, like, hey, as soon as you're taking your guy off the dribble, they're coming with a double team, and that's leaving these guys in the post wide open. So you have to, rather than you just putting your head down and taking it to the basket, you have to start looking for Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, because they're going to be open, because the double team is coming to you every single time. So you go back and watch that game. That was the difference for me. That's why Mobley and Jarrett Allen started getting all these buckets, because these double teams are coming towards Merrill, and a lot of them are dunks. And so, so I don't know if you can do that every single night. I don't know if that was something that that Kenny Atkinson was just keeping in his back pocket. Like, I noticed these guys, they're coming hard on these double teams every single time. Donovan Mitchell beats his guy off the dribble. The big man is coming with a double team and leaving our big man wide open. And so, whether they talked about it, whether Donovan and James Harden saw it on the tape, That's why they got so many assists, because rather than looking to shoot in those situations like they had been for the first 6 games, they were said, okay, I'm going to beat my guy off the dribble. I'm going to wait for this big man to come to me, and then I'm just going to find our big guys for a dunk or an alley-oop or an easy bucket. And so that happened, and we just build that lead, and then we never look back.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it was amazing seeing Jarrett Allen as a man possessed. He really was. And even Evan I started laughing because I remember the one dunk. Evan Mobley came down and Thompson went up to block him, and he dunked it off to the side. It was like a little dish off from Mitchell, and he dunked it with 2 hands. And I remember watching, God, what was the movie about Texas Western basketball? Glory Road. And the coach sitting there, he goes, I want you to dunk so hard you put your elbows in that basket. And I'm like, and even Jarrett Allen, I mean, he did one too from it felt like he left off from the freaking free throw line and threw one down. And I'm like, all right. It's like, as soon as I saw the confidence level, I think they just needed to get the confidence back in them. I think after game 6, it was kind of like a little down and out.
Sure.
And then finally, and I think what happened was Mitchell, seriously, right out of the gate, Mitchell said, we're not losing this game. And he put the team on his back right out of the gate. And whether it was assists, points, whatever he could do. And then everybody just kind of fell in line. And then also, Bri, they changed the starting lineup again. They put Strus out there instead of Dean Wade. And Strus got some hustle points, Strus has kind of been the Dellavedova, just that kind of guy. He's going to hustle for you. He's going to get all this other loose crap. But, I mean, it was amazing game 7. But, Bri, we got to look ahead tonight. We're playing the Knicks. We are not favored. Everybody in the NBA is saying this is the JV matchup, especially after the game that we saw last night between San Antonio and Oklahoma City Thunder. Mm-hmm. But, Bri, you always get a puncher's chance. And the way I say that, the Raptors won a championship, puncher's chance. Indiana, if Halliburton wouldn't got hurt, that was a puncher chance with them. All you got to do, you got a puncher's chance to beat New York Knicks and get to the finals. And then guess what, Bri? You're there. Let's see what happens. Bring on your best. Do whatever you can, because at that point in time, it's always win or go home. But these are last games you're playing. You might as well just leave it all on the floor in the NBA Finals. But right now, Bri, this team has finally made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, we've been harping on for the past how many years that we need this team to get to this point. Bri, New York Knicks have been playing amazing basketball. How do we beat the New York Knicks?
Well, to go back to Game 7 real quick, let me also give credit to Dean Wade, because he's another guy I've been critical of. A lot of Cavs fans have been critical of. Not offensively, he's never really going to score 15 points or anything like that. But just the fact that Cade Cunningham had 13 points in that game.
Yes, he did.
That's unbelievable. And I know Dean Wade wasn't the primary defender for all of that, but he had a job. If he could negate Cade Cunningham when he was in the game, I mean, their best player, everyone was saying he's the best player in the series. Mm-hmm. To hold him to 13 points, we're going to win 9 times out of 10. And so, the fact that we had all those other guys going off, yeah, that's how you get to a 30-point win. So, so to give him credit there, you also mentioned last night's game, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, being, maybe this being the JV game. That's the varsity. You can't think of that. Yeah, we'll deal with that when we get there. Right now, the Knicks are what's in front of us. People are going to hype up the Knicks because it's New York, because it's the Knicks, because they have been playing well. For 6 games in a row, they've been playing very well. But anything can happen. This isn't the 73-win Golden State Warriors. This isn't an all-time great team or anything like that. You have a chance against them. But you're going to have to slay some demons from 3 years ago when they just pushed you around. And, we have seen steps taken with Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen over the last month in these playoffs. You need them to be consistent because they're still very inconsistent. And so they could go out tonight. They could put up 20 and grab 12 boards like they did in Game 7. They could go 9 points and 1 board like they did a couple weeks ago. So you need consistency there. You need to. Mitchell Robinson has been kind of like the boogeyman for the last couple of years, but you kind of slayed one dragon with Jalen Dern, who's bigger, I think, than Robinson. But you have to give them reasons to take him out of the game. That's what they did with Jalen Dern. Like, it was almost like a relief when they would take him out of the game. You're like, okay, all right, now maybe we can work a little bit. And so you give them reasons to take Mitchell Robinson out of the game via foul trouble or just beating him off the dribble or something like that. He's not an all-star player or anything. He's just a bully. And so so you got to push him back. And so, yeah, I think this is a different series than we've had the last two, because the last two teams were very good defensive teams and we're very physical. This is like an offensive juggernaut, or at least they have been over the last month. And so so you're going to have to outscore them in a couple games. And so that means guys like James Harden hitting. That means Sam Merrill having 10, 15 points, Max Strus having 10 as opposed to 2-point games or something like that. So you're going to have to keep up with them, and it's going to be harder to come back if you fall down by 15 or so. So just keeping it close throughout the game, I think.
I think the great thing is Knicks have been on for like 10 days. So, yes, they're going to be a little bit well-rested, but you've been battle-tested. So they might be a little rusty coming out of the gate while you've been playing basketball this entire time. So this might be a game one scenario that you need. And you might steal game one right out of the gate because they might just come out rusty. And if that happens, I'll take that all day, Bri. I'm not going to lie. My parlay tonight, I do have to tell you, bud. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I got Donovan Mitchell, the combo, over 30+.
Is that points, rebounds, and assists?
Points, rebounds, and assist.
Okay, I like that.
Under tonight, which is
What's
at
that, like
218 and a half.
218, yeah.
And then I took the points. I took Cleveland plus 6.5.
Okay, down to 6.5. All right, so it's starting to swing our way a little bit.
So the reason why is that, like I said, I think New York might come out a little bit rusty, and I think the Cavs might need sneak one out. But Brian, I think this is going to be a great series. I really do. I think this is probably going to go down to the wire, 6 or 7 games, and I'm just praying, Brian, that the team that we saw on Friday night or Sunday night. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night is the same team that we see in this series, because that's the team that we've been accustomed to, not the other, lackadaisical, everything else. That was the team that was out there for business and played amazing. And I think if they do that, Bri, I think we can go to the finals with this team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough test, no doubt about it. You're gonna have to overcome a lot, because they have lineups where they can put 5 guys on the floor and all 5 guys can score, and so you're gonna have to be ready for that. And not to mention, I really believe New York is gonna get the calls, and maybe I'll prove to be wrong, but the narrative is, it's better for the NBA to have a New York team in the finals. So you're going to have to work against that. If these calls are going against you, you're going to have to stay in the game. I feel like we maybe got some favorable whistles in that Detroit series. And then just kind of withstand their runs when they go on a 10-0 run or a 12-0 run or something like that we seem to be pretty good with in that Pistons series. But Madison Square Garden is kind of a different animal. We're not going to have 25 bus fulls of Cavs fans there.
Yeah,
So
how awesome was that?
yeah, pretty cool.
I mean, that's
very, very, very cool. So
that
you
shows
just
you how much Dan Gilbert loves this city and his team to send not only one time, but twice. He sent bus loads up to Detroit. But yes, and from what I heard, Bri, those were the people that were making the most noise in Game 7 as the whole stadium cleared out in the third quarter. It was nothing but Cavs fans.
Sure, and it shows you how much influence Dan Gilbert has in Detroit, because I don't think he'd be able to pull, even if he wanted to. I don't think he'd be able to pull that off in New York City. But I don't know. He's got a ton of money, so never say never with that guy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Bryce. So give me your prediction, and then we will get the heck out of here and go watch the game.
Well, I picked the Pistons a couple weeks ago to win in 7. Even if I have to go with my heart for this one, I can't pick against them again. So I'm going Cavs in 6. I think hopefully they found something in Game 7. Everyone picking against them, it feels like Cleveland against the world. So that'll galvanize this team, I hope, and give us some confidence and start playing with some tenacity and really not wanting to be pushed around anymore. And thinking back to that series a couple years ago, to where I think the Knicks will probably come in thinking that it'll be pretty easy and feeling pretty good that they can just push us around and do whatever they want. So it's up to us to show them otherwise.
I'm with you, Bri. I say Cavs in 6. I'm with you. I think this is the team that does it. I really do. I don't know why I think that. I just got this gut feeling. I think they're battle tested with 2 Game 7s against teams that everybody said, hey, and no matter what people say, that team was number 1 in the East in Detroit. I don't care what they say about regular season. They were still number 1 team, and you took them out. You played a very tough series against a Toronto team that was ranked, 5th at the time. You've been battle tested this entire time, while some of these other ones have not been battle tested. Knicks, they were battle tested against the Hawks, and then they just rolled over the Sixers because the Sixers just gave up. But, Bri, I really do. I think it is. I think this is the Cavs' time. I think they go to the finals. Now, who they play in the finals? Jesus, we'll get to that point when we get to that point. But, man, it's going to be a fun ride, Bri.
That's why it's so key for us to steal one of these first 2 games. You have to start putting some doubt into their mind, because they're a juggernaut right now. They're rolling. They're playing with the most confidence they've played with maybe all year. Winning, what is it? Did they win 6 games in a row? Have they won 6 games in a row?
Yeah, and one of those games they scored 100 points in the first half, Bri.
Right. So they're feeling great. Nothing will stop them. You have to give them a wake up call. On top of winning 6 games in a row, a lot of the guys that beat you down a few postseasons ago are still there, so they remember that, and they're going to treat you like little brothers. So something's got to change. You got to set the tone here tonight, and even if you can't pull it out, keep it close, and then hopefully, like I said, steal one of these first 2.
All right, Bri. Want to remind everybody, this weekend is Memorial Weekend. Bri and I say it every time on our show. Troops and first responders, especially troops, we love you guys. Cannot thank you guys for all the sacrifices you guys do for us. Both Bri and I have had friends that have been overseas. We have lost friends that have been overseas. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. And I know Bri does too. Bri, chime in on that one too.
Yeah, because of the Cavs game and because we're running late, I'll have lots of shout outs next week. But yes, absolutely. Please remember the fallen soldiers as you're enjoying your long weekend, and just the families and the people that have made so many sacrifices and continue to make this the greatest country in the world.
All right, Brad. God bless them.
God bless you. God bless America.
We are definitely uncorked, unloaded. We are out, and go Cavs! Let them know. Say it.